Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into a fascinating subject that affects every one of us: psychology. Imagine being able to understand why people behave the way they do, why we feel certain emotions, and how our thoughts influence our actions. Psychology holds the key to unlocking these mysteries, offering insights that can improve our lives in countless ways. Have you ever wondered why we dream or what drives us to make certain decisions? Perhaps you've been curious about how children develop their personalities or why social interactions can sometimes be so complex. If these questions intrigue you, then you're in the right place. Psychology not only helps us understand ourselves and others, but also provides practical solutions to everyday challenges. By exploring this field, you gain tools to enhance your mental well-being, build stronger relationships, and lead a more fulfilling life. In this video, we'll take you on a journey through the world of psychology. We'll start with an overview, defining what psychology is and why it's so important. Then, we'll delve into its rich history, highlighting key milestones and influential figures who have shaped the field. You'll also learn about the various branches of psychology, from clinical and cognitive to developmental and social. Finally, we'll explore the research methods psychologists use to study the mind and behavior, including experimental, observational, and case studies. So let's get started on this exciting exploration of the human mind. Psychology, at its core, is the scientific study of the mind and behavior. It seeks to understand how we think, feel, and act, both individually and in groups. This field encompasses a wide range of topics, from basic processes like perception and memory to complex phenomena like love, prejudice, and mental illness. But why is psychology so important? Simply put, it helps us make sense of ourselves and the world around us. The goals of psychology are multifaceted. One primary aim is to describe behavior and mental processes accurately. This involves observing and documenting how people and animals act in different situations. By establishing detailed descriptions, psychologists can identify patterns and norms. Another crucial goal is to explain these behaviors and mental processes. Psychologists develop theories and models to understand the underlying mechanisms. For example, they might explore why certain individuals are more prone to anxiety, or what factors contribute to happiness. Prediction is another key objective. By understanding how different variables interact, psychologists can predict future behavior. This is particularly useful in areas like clinical psychology, where predicting the course of a mental disorder can inform treatment plans. Finally, psychology aims to apply its findings to solve real-world problems. Whether it's improving educational outcomes, enhancing workplace productivity, or developing therapies for mental health conditions, the practical applications of psychology are vast and varied. The history of psychology is rich and diverse, spanning several centuries and encompassing numerous schools of thought. Let's take a journey through time to explore some key milestones and influential figures who have shaped this fascinating field. The roots of psychology can be traced back to ancient civilizations. Philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle pondered questions about the mind, behavior, and human nature. However, it wasn't until the late 19th century that psychology began to emerge as a distinct scientific discipline. In 1879, Wilhelm Wundt, often considered the father of psychology, established the first experimental psychology lab in Leipzig, Germany. Wundt's work focused on introspection, a method of self-observation where subjects reported their thoughts and feelings. This marked the beginning of psychology as an experimental science. Around the same time, William James, an American philosopher and psychologist, published his seminal work, The Principles of Psychology. James is known for his pragmatic approach and contributions to the functionalist perspective, which emphasized the adaptive functions of the mind. Sigmund Freud, a name synonymous with psychology, revolutionized the field with his psychoanalytic theory in the early 20th century. Freud introduced concepts like the unconscious mind, defense mechanisms, and psychosexual stages of development. Despite controversies, his ideas have profoundly influenced both psychology and popular culture. The behaviorist movement, led by figures like John Watson and B.F. Skinner, emerged in the early 20th century as a reaction to psychoanalysis. Behaviorists focused on observable behavior and the principles of learning, arguing that all behavior is shaped by the environment through conditioning. In the mid-20th century, humanistic psychology, championed by Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow, offered a more holistic view. Humanistic psychologists emphasized personal growth, self-actualization, and the inherent goodness of people. This perspective highlighted the importance of subjective experiences and individual potential. Cognitive psychology, which gained prominence in the 1960s and 1970s, brought the focus back to mental processes. Researchers like John Piaget, Noam Chomsky, and Ulrich Neisser explored how we perceive, think, remember, and solve problems. This cognitive revolution has led to significant advancements in understanding memory, language, and decision-making. Psychology is a broad field with numerous branches, each focusing on different aspects of the mind and behavior. Let's explore some of the main branches and their unique contributions. Clinical psychology is perhaps the most well-known branch. Clinical psychologists assess, diagnose, and treat mental health disorders. They work in various settings, including hospitals, private practices, and academic institutions. Through therapy, they help individuals cope with issues like depression, anxiety, and trauma. Cognitive psychology studies mental processes such as perception, memory, thinking, and problem-solving. Cognitive psychologists seek to understand how we process information and how this affects our behavior. Their research has applications in areas like education, artificial intelligence, and cognitive therapy. Developmental psychology examines how people grow and change throughout their lifespan. This includes physical, cognitive, social, and emotional development. Developmental psychologists study everything from infant motor skills to elderly cognitive decline, providing insights into how we evolve from birth to old age. Social psychology explores how individuals influence and are influenced by others. This branch investigates topics like group behavior, social perception, leadership, and interpersonal relationships. Social psychologists aim to understand the social dynamics that shape our actions and attitudes. Biological psychology, also known as biopsychology or neuropsychology, examines the biological underpinnings of behavior and mental processes. This includes studying the brain, neurotransmitters, and the nervous system. By understanding the biological basis of behavior, biopsychologists can develop treatments for neurological and psychological disorders. Industrial organizational psychology applies psychological principles to the workplace. IO psychologists study employee behavior, motivation, and productivity. They aim to improve organizational effectiveness and employee well-being through practices like personnel selection, training, and performance appraisal. Educational psychology focuses on how people learn and the best practices for teaching. Educational psychologists work in schools, developing curricula, and assessing educational interventions. Their goal is to enhance the learning experience for students of all ages. Health psychology examines the interplay between psychological factors and physical health. Health psychologists study how behavior, emotion, and cognition influence health and illness. They work on promoting healthy behaviors, managing chronic diseases, and improving healthcare systems. Research methods in psychology are diverse and tailored to the questions being investigated. Understanding these methods is crucial for evaluating psychological research and its findings. Experimental research is one of the most common methods. It involves manipulating one or more variables to determine their effect on another variable. For example, a psychologist might manipulate the level of noise in a room to see its impact on concentration. Experimental research allows for establishing cause and effect relationships. Observational research involves systematically watching and recording behavior as it occurs naturally. This method can be conducted in various settings, such as in the laboratory or in the field. Observational research is useful for studying behavior in real-world contexts without manipulating variables. Case studies involve an in-depth examination of a single individual or a small group. This method provides detailed information about complex issues that cannot be captured through other methods. Case studies are particularly useful in clinical psychology for understanding rare or unique conditions. Surveys and questionnaires are widely used to gather data from large groups of people. These methods involve asking participants about their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Surveys can provide valuable information about attitudes, beliefs, and trends across different populations. Correlational research examines the relationship between two or more variables. Unlike experimental research, correlational studies do not involve manipulation. Instead, they look for patterns and associations. For example, a correlational study might explore the relationship between exercise and happiness. However, it's important to note that correlation does not imply causation. Longitudinal studies track the same individuals over an extended period. This method is useful for studying developmental changes and long-term effects. Longitudinal research can provide insights into how early experiences influence later behavior and mental processes. Cross-sectional studies compare different groups at a single point in time. This method is often used to study age-related differences by comparing groups of different ages. Cross-sectional research can provide a snapshot of differences and similarities across various groups. As we wrap up this introduction to psychology, it's clear that this field offers invaluable insights into the human mind and behavior. From understanding the complexities of mental health to enhancing our daily interactions, psychology has far-reaching implications for improving our lives. Whether you're interested in becoming a psychologist or simply want to apply psychological principles to your own life, the knowledge gained from this field can be incredibly empowering. Thank you for joining us on this journey through psychology. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos on fascinating topics. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the wonders of the human mind.